All right, guys, so what am I going to be watching for Tuesday, September 10th? Remember, I'm watching these for day trades. I start with the daily chart, find stuff that might give me a nice intraday trade tomorrow, and then I'm in cash before the close. I always start off with the SPY, which we had a small gap up here. Very, very low volume. We're seeing that a lot lately. We're sitting near all-time highs, but the volume is just really, really dead. I think as a team, we still did a pretty darn nice job of finding some nice setups today. But you got to be real selective, and there's a lot of stuff that's just too thin to trade right now. Having said that, let's get into the watch list for tomorrow. So GameStop, GME just broke out of this 3-week long base down here and broke out today. So we'll see if there's any kind of follow through set up tomorrow. Fuel Cell, nice gap up, big volume, strong close. Definitely watching for a follow through day tomorrow. Pier 1, PIR. Gave a quiet inside day after the big breakout of this long month-and-a-half range yesterday meaning Friday. Definitely want to watch that one for a third day play. ARDX. We had this on watch coming into today with this kind of big pop and then the flag, and then it did give a nice secondary pop. How do we trade these in chat? Did this give a setup in chat? Those of you that were there know. If you weren't there, showing you a few heads up. Jane, Jared, Kevin, Ramesh, all before it triggered. Kind of gave heads up on ARDX. I was on the mic, and let me show you 5-minute candles, how and why I called it the way I did. But I appreciate all the people in chat, keeping this on my radar, saying, hey, this one might trigger, right? It enables me to spot something that maybe I otherwise wouldn't have. Now, this was on the bounce play watch list coming into today, and a fairly narrow range, showing you 5-minute candles. The thing I liked about it was an opening range breakout. We look to the left and say, wow, Friday's high is 3 cents above the high of day. So on the mic, I said, if this takes out the high of day, which would be 518, there's a big seller on the tape at 520, which also happens to be Friday's high. We get through that seller, it'll start, breaking that flag on the daily chart and look pretty good that way too. So basically called it over 517. I'll slide my personal order over to prove that I trade what I call. And I did a limit of 520. One of these columns, you can't see the headers, is the limit, and the other one is the fill. Limit of 520, filled at 520. And look at that. Never looked back. Went all the way up to almost 580 at one point. And now, because the daily is up near recent highs, it's extended. It's far away from the moving averages, but I do want to watch that again tomorrow because of the strength it had today. Nice trade in it today. OGEN. Kind of a nice volume spike and closing above probably a month's worth of trading. So we'll see if we get a follow-through day there. Sometimes when you have that 200-day above, that can become a target and sometimes can act like a magnet. So I want to watch that for a follow-through day tomorrow. WTER. I think this one had news after hours because I noticed that it had volume in after hours. And as I'm talking, I think it's trading around $2.80. So it is set to gap up tomorrow. We'll see if the news holds people's excitement and does open up in this area somewhere, but certainly worth watching tomorrow if it's still gapping. All right. ENDP had a big day on Friday. Big volume, quiet inside day today. Sometimes you get a third day play, so that one goes on watch. ARCI, this one I feel a little silly having on watch because the market's already thin, and then this is a thin stock in a thin market. It only traded 53,000 today, but if you didn't look at that and you just said candlesticks, kind of interesting, right? You had this huge pop to over $9. My problem is it almost round tripped, then a secondary pop and came back down, and it's really starting to curl back up and hold up okay. So I don't know. It feels like nobody's watching it. I'm going to have it on a chart, but you got to have volume to trade something, and so I doubt this one's going to give me any kind of setup, but if some massive volume comes in, keep in mind it's a nice looking daily chart, right? TOPS, TOPS, had a really nice pop today from 715 all the way to 971 before closing at 874. It took out the highs from the earnings day. On an intraday basis, it didn't close above that. This is a great looking chart to me for a possible red to green or something like that tomorrow. CHGG, I've got several bounce plays, and these, what I'm getting ready to show you, are all really beaten up stocks, and I'll be looking for one of the setups that we trade beaten up stocks on as far as intraday tomorrow. CHGG is one of them. I'm just going to kind of rip through them. PINS, Pinterest, we had this on watch coming into, I think, Friday and then into today and then another ugly day. It's certainly getting way ahead of itself to the downside, so we could get a nice snapback bounce in this one. Work, which is Slack, recent IPO, 2 ugly days here, hitting all-time lows, certainly worth watching for a bounce. Zoom, another one, 3-4 red days down in a row, pretty ugly. Let me see. If I call like after earnings, the high the day after earnings was 96.50. It's down, almost $20 from there in a couple days. You look to the left, it does have some support in this area between 75 and 80. So another good candidate for a snapback bounce tomorrow. CRWD, recent IPO again, and a couple of really ugly days. Just to give you a number, 3 sessions ago, 87.19, all the way down. It actually breached 65 today. So that's also a good setup for a snapback bounce. And then lastly, TWLO, maybe not as ugly as the others, but still 3 nasty red days in a row, big volume today. That's it. There's plenty to watch. We'll add some gappers in the pre-market as well. And I'm going to leave it at that. And we'll see y'all in chat tomorrow.